The Moore family consisted of parents, Josiah, Sarah, and their 4 children, Herman, Mary Catherine, Arthur Boyd, and Paul Vernon. An affluent family, the Moores were well known and well liked in their community. On June 9, 1912, Mary Catherine Moore, one of the children, invited Ina May and Lena Gertrude Stillinger to spend the night at the Moore residence. These 2 were her friends. That evening, the visiting girls and the Moore family attended their church, where they participated in the Children's Day program, which Sarah had coordinated. After the program ended at 9:30 p.m., the Moores and the Stillinger sisters walked to the Moores' house, arriving between 9:45 and 10 p.m. At 7 a.m. the next day, June 10th, Mary Peckham, the Moores' neighbor, became concerned after she noticed that the family had not come out to do their morning chores. Peckham knocked on the Moores' door. When nobody answered, she tried to open the door and discovered that it was locked. Peckham let the Moores' chickens out and called Ross Moore, Josiah's brother. Like Peckham, Moore received no response when he knocked on the door and shouted. Ross unlocked the front door with his copy of the house key. While Peckham stood on the porch, Ross went into the parlor and opened the guest bedroom door, where he found Ina and Lena Stillinger's bodies on the bed. Moore immediately told Peckham to call Henry Hank Horton, Villisca's primary peace officer, who arrived shortly thereafter. Horton's search of the house revealed that the entire Moore family and the 2 Stillinger girls had been bludgeoned to death. The murder weapon, an axe belonging to Josiah, was found in the guest room, where the Stillinger sisters were found. Doctors concluded that the murders had taken place between midnight and 5 a.m. 2 spent cigarettes in the attic suggested that the killer, or killers, patiently waited in the attic until the Moore family and the Stillinger guests were asleep. The killers began in the master bedroom, where Josiah and Sarah Moore were sleeping. Josiah received more blows from the axe from any other victim. His face had been cut to such an extent that his eyes were missing. The ceiling in his room also had a gouge mark from when the murderer lifted the axe to murder him. The killer, or killers, used the blade of the axe on Sarah while using the blunt end on the rest of the victims. Herman, Mary Catherine, Arthur, and Paul were next bludgeoned in the head in the same manner as their parents. Afterwards, the murderer returned to the master bedroom to inflict more blows on the elder Moores, knocking over a shoe that had filled with blood, before moving downstairs to the guest bedroom and killing Ina and Lena. Seemingly afterwards, a 4-pound slab of bacon was taken out of the icebox and laid next to the axe. Investigators also found untouched food and bloody water during their search. After the search, people were let in to see if they could have committed the crime, completely contaminating the weapon. Investigators believed that all of the victims except for Lena Stillinger had been asleep when murdered. They thought she was awake and tried to fight back, as she was found lying crosswise on the bed and with defensive wounds on her arm. Lena's nightgown was pushed up to her waist, and she was wearing no undergarments, leading to law enforcement speculation that the killers sexually molested her or attempted to do so. This was later proven to be false. A lengthy investigation yielded several suspects, one of whom was tried twice. The first trial ended in a hung jury, and the second ended in an acquittal. The crime remains unsolved.